we're talking about reverses again because I continue to get so many questions about them. And that doesn't surprise me. As I said, they can be very hard to grasp. And of course, people look at you when you first say, well, you reverse the hand. Well, they might look at you like you have a third eye in the middle of your forehead because they don't, what, I just bid my suits, Well, the problem is that you're forcing the bidding up to a higher level, so you need to have more points when you do it. That's why you care. When partner responds in a suit, he doesn't promise you more than 6 points and more than 4 cards if it's a major suit. So we have to be kind of careful about how we bid after that because partner may not have much, but you certainly don't want to discourage him from bidding if he has 6 points, because many's the time I've seen people pass with 7 or 8 points even, and partner had a big hand and they missed a game. So I always encourage people to respond if they have 6 points. And sometimes it's not wrong to respond with 5 points and a doubleton, as long as that doubleton's not in partner suit. So let's start out talking about what Sherry said earlier about what a reverse is not. A reverse is not the situation where opener bids a suit, responder bids a suit at the one level, and opener rebids at the one level. For instance, 1 diamond, 1 heart, 1 spade. Yes, spades are higher ranking than diamonds, but if you don't have 5 spades, you can't open a spade. This is just normal up the line bidding. Generally, the opener has denied 4-card heart support here. And says, well, what do you think, partner? I have 4 spades. Do you have 4 hearts and 4 spades? In this instance, 1 diamond, 1 heart, 2 clubs. The second bid is at the 2 level, which is one of the requirements for a reverse, but it's in a lower ranking suit. So that's not a reverse. This just shows an unbalanced hand that's predominantly minor suits. It's too unbalanced to rebid 1 no trump. This should not be a hand with 4 diamonds and 4 clubs in it. Opener's range in both of these is 12 to 18 points. It's fewer than 19 because there was no jump shift. Or, as I make a note, if he happened to use the rule of 20 to open in first or second seat, it may be only 10 high card points, but he has enough shape to make up for the lack of high card points. So these examples are not reverses, even though spades are higher ranking than diamonds, and even though this 2 club bid is a rebid at the 2 level. The clubs are lower in rank than diamonds, and this second bid here is not at the 2 level. So what exactly does it take to call a bid a reverse? Number 1, a reverse always shows more cards in the first suit than in the second. Could be 6-4, could be 5-4. A reverse promises a hand with 17 or more points. Yes, I know some people reverse with 16. That's a bit light for me. I've gotten into trouble reversing with 16 points before, so I tend not to do it. Once burned, twice shy, as they say. But basically, the hand that reverses looks a lot like, or seems a lot like, the hand that would rebid 2 no trump if it were balanced. In other words, it'll have 18 or so points in it, but it could have as many as 20 or 21 and not be suitable for a 2 no trump opening. I'm still not very comfortable with the idea of opening with a singleton ace at 2 no trump, although I know people do it. I am too traditional, I guess. I tend to bid that hand like a reverse. It's a pretty heavy reverse, but that's okay. There's really not any top limit on the reverse. It just has to be the right shape and have enough points in it. Now, the other thing that you need to remember when your partner reverses is that it's a one-round force, because it shows at least an invitational level hand. Remember, an opening hand that's minimum has 12 to 15 or 16 points in it and isn't appropriate for a one no trump opening. But once you get into that area of 16 to 18, that's invitational level. And a hand that reverses is always at least at the invitational level. So it's a one-round force. In other words, if responder has 8 points in his hand, there's a really good chance you might have a game somewhere. So that's the reason that the reverse is a one-round force. You have to be really careful. I've seen some people get into some serious trouble because they forgot that a reverse is a one-round force, and they passed that rebid with only 2 cards in the suit, and there's partner playing a 4-2 fit. In case any of you are not aware of it, a 4-2 fit does not play well. There is a really huge chance that one of the defenders has more trumps than you do. The two of them together have more than you and the dummy do, and it can be really difficult, really difficult. So you don't ever want to pass that second bid when partner has reversed with only 2 cards in your hand. Just don't do it. We're going to talk next week about how to respond when your partner reverses. It's too much for one Saturday morning. But there are some definite things that you can do and definite bids that have meanings to let partner know, hey, I'm really weak over here. I had to bid again, and you know it because I bid 2 no trump, or because I repeated my 5 card major suit. That's allowable with only 5 of them when your partner has reversed. So we'll get into some of that next week. But when your partner has reversed, you need to bid again, because it is a one-round force. It's not a game force, forcing for 1 round only. And above all else, the second suit that was bid is higher in rank than the first bid suit, and it was bid at the 2 level. For instance, here's some examples. Opener starts with 1 club, responder bids a heart, opener now bids 2 diamonds. Diamonds are higher in ranking than clubs. The second bid is at the 2 level. So this is a reverse. It shows a hand with at least 5 clubs and 4 diamonds in it. It may be 6 clubs and 4 diamonds. And it has enough points to reverse. If it doesn't have enough points to reverse, you have to rebid clubs and then show your diamonds if they're worth it. But here's another one. 1 diamond, 1 spade, 2 hearts. This one happens all the time at beginner tables because they don't have the sophistication to recognize a reverse at all. This promises at least 5 diamonds and 4 hearts and denies 4 spades, of course, because with 4 spades, you need to establish the fit right away. And with the number of points that opener should have, if he has 4 spades, he wouldn't bid just 2 spades. He should bid at least 3 spades. And if he has enough, he might bid 4. So the opener has the kind of hand that is not going to rebid minimally, because he has the reverse available. It looks like a minimum rebid, but it's not. This is a hand that is 1 step up from a minimum. Now, when you're evaluating your hand, you can give yourself an extra point if all of your high card points are in your 2 suits. This is an extra good thing when you're talking about hand evaluation. It's always better to have your high card points in your long suits rather than in your short suits. I hate it when I have all my points in my short suits, because I want to play in my long suit. And I would like to have some honors in it, but you don't always get what you want in this game, definitely. Or you can add another point if you have really good spot cards. And here's an important and. You don't have any unsupported queens and jacks in the side suits. The reason being, unsupported queens and jacks in the side suits, those other 2 suits, You've got 9 cards at least in your 2 major suits. You can't have a queen or a jack that's likely to stand up in the play of the hand if you have only 2 cards in each of those side suits. So if you don't have any unsupported queens and jacks, and you have good spot cards, you can add a point to your hand. If you have a king in your hand, cool. Kings are very much better. If I get to choose which 3 points I get, I'd much rather have a king than a stray queen and jack somewhere. Much more likely to be useful to me. So you can add a point if you're really on the verge and looking to see if you can reverse, because reverses are very descriptive bids. They're like opening one no trump. Your partner has a pretty good idea of the shape of your hand and what the point count is when you have reversed. So I have some examples here. Feel free to chime in. So number 1 is the first auction, 1 club, 1 heart, 1 spade, a reverse. Has North reversed here?
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
No, that's right. The second bid is not at the 2 level, is it? So he did not reverse. How about number 2? 1 club, 1 spade, 2 diamonds.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I heard somebody say yes, absolutely. 1 diamond, pass, 1 spade, 2 hearts. What do we think about that one?
No.
Why not?
Well,
Yes.
he has to go the 2 level.
Well, how about aren't hearts higher in rank than diamonds?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Second bid's at the 2 level.
Okay.
It's a reverse. It's a reverse. Definitely. All right. Number 4, 1 diamond, 1 spade, 2 clubs.
No.
No, second suit is not higher in rank than the first one. So this is not a reverse. Number 5, 1 diamond, 2 clubs, 2 hearts.
Yes.
No. No.
I can go with either one. This is what Roy and I were talking about before we started. If you play 2 over 1, South's bid is game forcing. And so the North hand may or may not contain the typical values for a reverse. Generally, after the game force is established by a 2 club call over a 1 diamond opening, the pairs bid 4 card major suits up the line looking for the 4-4 major suit fit. If they don't find it, they'll try for no trump, and they may have to end up in one of the minors. This does not necessarily promise a reversing hand here because it is a 2 over 1 auction. South's bid was at the 2 level. Even if you don't play 2 over 1, South's bid promises at least 10 high card points. And he should have 5 clubs. If he has a 4 card major, he should bid it first when he doesn't have a game forcing hand. He did not. So this looks like a 2 over 1 auction to me, and this South hand may or may not have a 4 card major in it. We'll find out as the bidding goes along. Number 6, 1 heart, 1 no trump, 2 spades. Beth's nodding. Yes, you're right, Beth. You're absolutely right. I can see you. This is 1 heart, 1 no trump, 2 spades. Spades are higher ranking. Notice North had to go to the 2 level. If he had a minor suit that he could bid, he would show it here. Would be a typical 2 over 1 auction using the forcing 1 no trump. If you don't play the forcing 1 no trump, North, of course, can always pass. But he apparently has the values for a reverse here. So it's entirely possible, even though South does not have 3 hearts and does not, well, he may have 3 hearts if he has a 3 card limit raise. But he doesn't have 4 spades. Remember, that's one thing in 2 over 1 bidding. You never skip over a 4 card spade suit when your partner has opened 1 heart to bid the forcing one no trump. You always bid one spade first, because it could be like this north hand. He has 5 hearts and 4 spades. There's a convention out there called Flannery that was developed to help players show this type of hand when they don't have enough to reverse. It's an opening bid of 2 diamonds, and of course you give up the weak 2 opening in diamonds. A lot of people think that that's not a terribly useful opening bid anyway, so they don't mind giving it up. But those who play Flannery open 2 diamonds to show a hand with 11 to 15 high card points with exactly 5 hearts and 4 spades. Notice the point range is not enough to reverse. This kind of hand happens more often than the hand that has enough to reverse. And it takes away the problem of dealing with that hand, gets the whole hand off his chest immediately. There are a lot of people who use Flannery and like it a lot, but I'll be honest with you, it doesn't come up all that often. And I have seen very, 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 very many bidding snafus at the table when your partner forgets you're playing Flannery and thinks it's a weak 2 in diamonds. It bids 2 no trump, wanting to know if you have a feature. It can go off the rails if you don't review it regularly. But it's a handy bid to know if you can remember it. That's the deal. All right, here's the next one. 1 heart, 1 spade, 3 clubs.
So Susan, is 6 a yes or a no
It
then?
is a yes, it is a reverse, absolutely.
Sorry.
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't make that very clear. It definitely is a reverse. Beth was nodding. And so since you all can't see her head, I'm sorry, I forgot that. Number 7, 1 heart by north, 1 spade by south, and then 3 clubs by north. Is that a reverse?
No,
What is it?
jump,
Jump shift,
Jump shift, yes. What kind of hand does that denote?
strong game forcing.
Yeah, we're now in a game force. That's right. This is the hand that had 1 loser too many to open 2 clubs. This is a hand with a valuation generally of 19 to 21 points, 5 hearts, 4 clubs, although if you're up against it, it may be only 3 clubs. I've been known to jump shift into a 3-card minor because I never would jump into a 3-card major. Don't ever lie about your major suits, folks, because partners take your major suit bids seriously. And with minors, not so much. All right, 1 club, 1 no trump, 2 hearts. What do we think about that one?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Hearts are higher than clubs, and its second bids at the 2 level. South doesn't have 4 hearts, so why in the world did North do that? We know South doesn't have a 4-card major from that bid, right? Why would North bid this way?
show points.
To show points and shape, exactly. Reverses are very descriptive bids. Very descriptive bids. So, when we were talking previously about how you can add a point if you don't have any stray queens and jacks in your hands that are not supported. In this hand, all the queen here is supported by the king, and these 2 jacks, this one is supported by the king, and this one is supported by the ace. In other words, they're working together with other honors. So these queens and jacks can be counted. If they are stray, in other words, queen doubleton or jack doubleton, those are our honors that you should be very careful about counting. Simply because, especially if one of your rude opponents has bid the suit, when you have stray queens and jacks in the opponent's suits, I tend to subtract the values for those honors from my hand because they are not likely to take tricks. So Another thing to remember about a reverse is it is unlike our normal bidding situation where we're taught to bid the higher ranking suit first. This is why these are called reverses, because we have reversed the rank of the suits. We have bid the lower ranking suit first. So with a reverse, it goes low to high, not high to low in terms of suit rank. So that means that when you open one diamond, you can't reverse into clubs. Just like if you open a club, your partner can't use a 2/1 game force because the 2-level bid is a non-jump bid. So there are things that you can't do when you open a diamond. You cannot reverse into clubs at all because clubs are the lowest ranking of all of them. And reverses after, the key thing here is responder bid at the 1 level. It goes from a lower ranking suit at the 1 level to a higher ranking suit at the 2 level, not the 1 level. Second bid is always at the 2 level, and the suit bid is higher in rank than the first one that was bid. Now, every now and again, you find somebody that thinks, oh, well, I've got this new toy here and I'm going to use it. And then so sometimes players will fabricate a reverse, so to speak, by opening the bidding in a 4-card suit in order to reverse into the 5-card suit because he wants to show his points. Don't do that. That's a major distortion of your hand as opener. You can show your points again. Remember, if you get a chance to bid the 3rd time, you can show your points. And if you don't get to bid a 3rd time because your partner passes, he was so weak, you're not going to make anything anyway. You're not going to make a game. So when there's no game available, you look for the safest place to pass. And if partner does that, you need to respect his opinion. Now, don't forget to open 1 no trump when you have a 5-card minor and 4 hearts, or 5 clubs and 4 diamonds, when the majority of your points are in the short suits. For instance, this hand that I've shown here, yeah, it's 5-4-2-2 or 2-4-5-2 more correctly. I'm opening that 1 no trump because look at my suits. My suits are pathetic. 1 no trump is a more descriptive bid on this particular hand than opening 1 diamond and reversing into 2 hearts. Take that ace of clubs and put it in the diamond suit and the queen of spades and put it in the heart suit, and I'll reverse all day long. But when I have suits that look like these, and I have most of my points in my short suits here, I'm going to bid 1 no trump. This looks no trumpy to me because it has suits where I can develop tricks. You know, when you have a lot of prime values, those tricks, aces and kings, take tricks early on, but in no trump, you're often looking to develop tricks. And so this hand just looks no trumpy to me.
Even though you have 2 doubletons?
Sure. 5-4-2-2 shape is semi-balanced and is a perfectly normal 1 no trump opening.
Okay.
6-3-2-2 is also a 1 no trump opening. Now, never a 6-card major. Never, ever, 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 ever a 6-card major. But a 6-card minor gets opened at my table with 1 no trump many times. And I've had opponents do that as well. And it seems like they're printing those minor suit cards over there under the table, and they just keep leading them because you don't know when they open 1 no trump that they have a 6-card minor. Now remember, you don't have a singleton unless it's an ace, king, or queen. So it needs to be 6-3-2-2 most all the time. But if I have a 6-3-2-2 and I have the points for 1 no trump, I open at 1 no trump as long as that 6-card suit is a minor. Now, here's another point I want to make to you. We've talked about splinter bids before, right? Well, there's such a thing as a splinter by the opener. In this instance, where opener bids a diamond, responder bids 1 spade, the 3 heart bid looks like it might be a reverse, doesn't it? But a reverse is 2 hearts, not 3 hearts. So what is the jump to 3 hearts? It is 1 step above the forcing bid. By definition, that is a splinter bid by the opener. He's saying, I have 4-card spade support for you, partner. I have a game going hand. By opener, that means I have a hand worth 19-ish, something like that, 5 loser hand. And I have a singleton or a void in the heart suit. So a jump reverse is a splinter bid. 2 hearts would be a reverse. 3 hearts is a splinter. So, and here's the thing I talked about earlier. If you and your partner play the 2-over-1 game forcing system, a reverse doesn't necessarily promise extra values. There are no reverses when you're playing 2-over-1 because you're already in a forcing auction. Partner may have the 17 or 18 points required, or he may not. It will be up to him to distinguish, for opener to distinguish that as the bidding goes on. Now, is there a question, Rick?
Yeah, there's a couple of them from the chat. Excuse me. From the chat, why is that not a jump shift?
What, 1 diamond, 3 hearts?
Yeah.
Well, it could be, but by definition, the jump reverse is a splinter, not a jump shift. That's the best way I know to explain it.
Okay. Or
If you don't play splinter bids, if you and your partner don't play splinters, or you don't play splinters by the opener, then it is a jump shift. Okay, does that make sense? If you play splinter bids, this is a splinter. But if you don't, it's a jump shift. You're right.
All right. And Beth has her hand up.
Go right ahead, Beth.
So when the splinter bid is made, does that set suit agreement?
Yes, that sets the trump suit of spades.
Okay.
Yes.
So then they could go on from there.
Yes, absolutely. If responder has enough, I mean, he's only promised 6 points. This is a game force because partner has announced enough to go on to game. I mean, it's possible that responder might bid 3 spades, and if he does, I would take that as an indication that he would like for me to cue bid a control, because this splinter bid sets the trumps and it says we have a game. So we're gonna play at least 4 spades. This is, I like to caution I see a lot of people respond with no values. This kind of auction right here is a reason why you shouldn't do that. If you bid with no values as responder, your partner can do all kinds of things that can turn out to be very ugly, because he's going to assume that you have the values for your bid. He may jump to 2 no trump. He may jump to 3 of his suit, or he may splinter like this. And all of a sudden you think, oh, I wish I hadn't bid. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Why did I do that? And the worst thing that happens, of course, is that it erodes the trust that your partner has in you. If you and your partner have agreed that a response may not promise 6 points, go for it. But I like to have a floor on, like I like to be able to give my partner at least 5 points, for instance. So I tend to prefer not to bid when I don't have at least 5 points and a little bit of shape. So, as I said, what looks like a reverse when there's been a 2-over-1 bid by the responder may or may not promise extra values depending on partnership agreement. But particularly when it is 1 diamond, 2 clubs, the way the partnership finds a 4-4 major suit fit is by bidding 4-card suits up the line. So this is normal bidding in a 2/1 auction. Anybody else have a question before we move on to some of these hand patterns? Nobody. Okay. The most common 5-4 hand patterns after a 1-level response are 5 clubs and 4 diamonds, 5 clubs and 4 hearts, 5 diamonds and 4 hearts, and 5 hearts and 4 spades. This is the one where Flannery is very helpful in to have a bid to describe this kind of hand. In each one of these cases, opener begins with the 5-card suit. Obviously, we don't all open 4-card major suits in standard American bidding. There are some other systems out there where they do open 4-card majors, but standard American is the prevailing system in the United States. After you've opened with the 5-card suit, I generally plan my rebid before I open. And I will decide, oh, I don't have the values to reverse, or I do have the values to reverse. Generally, when I think I do have the values to reverse, I think, I wonder if my partner will recognize it. Most of my partners do, but that thought always occurs to me. Now, if you don't have enough points to reverse, you have to pick from one of the following options. If your partner has bid a major suit, you raise the major with only 3-card support. Generally, this will be a hand that is 5-4-3-1. Remember, we started with a 5-4 hand pattern, and we have a singleton and an unbid suit. If that's an unbid major, I really don't want to bid 1 no trump with a singleton and an unbid major suit, because guess what the opponents are going to lead? It's going to be my singleton suit, because after all, that's where they figure to have length. So this is the one time when I will raise my partner's major suit response with only 3-card support. Hopefully I have an honor and 2 small ones. And then I have that singleton over here, which maybe partner has some losers in that suit, and he can use my small trumps to take care of a couple of those, maybe. And then if I have an honor, well, that should be of help as well. So this is ideally what I like to have: honor third and 5-4-3-1 shape. I will raise partners one of a major response to 2 with only 3-card support, and that is the only time I do it. Now, I can rebid my 5-card suit. Normally that would show 6, but my back may be against the wall. Maybe I don't have 3 cards in my partner's major suit. Maybe I have only 2. Rebidding a minor suit, like diamonds, if I opened a diamond, promises a 6-card suit or a self-sufficient 5-card suit. What does self-sufficient mean? 4 of the top 5 honors. In other words, it can play well opposite 2 small, or even 1 small, because we have lots of leads. If I have a sort of a balanced hand, 5-4-2-2, for instance, with only 2-card support for my partner's major suit, then I'll bid no trump, because I don't have a singleton in an unbid suit. If I have a singleton in an unbid suit, I will raise my partner's major with only 3 cards. If I can't do that because I don't have 3 cards, I'm going to rebid my 5-card suit. Partner will have to get over it. Yes, I know I lied, but this is the least lie. You just don't always have the perfect bid to describe your hand. You just don't. And so when you're going to have to lie to your partner, tell the least lie possible. In other words, the one that will do the least damage. And these are your options when you are 5-4-2-2 or 5-4-3-1 and lack the values to reverse. And it's very unusual that if you have 5 diamonds and 4 in a major suit, partner almost never bids your 4-card major suit. I don't know why that happens, but it seems to happen in my life that way. Now, if you have a 6-card suit and a 4-card suit. Obviously, we're not going to open a 4-card suit here, major in particular. So if we have 6 of a minor and 4 of a major, we're going to open the minor and then decide whether the hand is strong enough to show the 4-card suit. If you would have to reverse after your partner bids, if you don't have the points to reverse, you have a very convenient rebid. This time you don't have to lie and rebid a 5-card suit. You can rebid your 6-card suit, and if the opportunity presents itself, you can show the 4-card suit. To show the 4-card suit and you don't have sufficient points, just rebid that 6-card suit. This one's relatively easy. Now here's the one that we were talking about here. 6.
Susan,
Yes.
back on the 6-4 distribution,
Uh-huh.
if you rebid, I mean, if you've got 6 and you don't rebid the 6-card suit right away, they're not going to know that you've got 6.
Yeah, they will. When you have a 6-4 hand pattern, you bid the 6-card suit, the 4-card suit, then the 6-card suit. That's the way you show it. Just like when you have, and if you would need to reverse to show the 4-card suit, when you bid the 6-card suit and rebid the 6-card suit and then bid the 4-card suit later, partner should be able to figure out that you're 6-4 and you didn't have the values to reverse. If he stops and thinks about the bidding for a minute, he'll figure that out.
So in other words, you go ahead and rebid on your first rebid, you rebid the suit, and then you show the reverse.
Well, if you have enough to reverse, you just go ahead and reverse. What I'm
Well,
talking
that's what I'm saying. If you open a club and you've got six clubs, and then you open a club and you've got 6 clubs, and you've also got 4 hearts. And you've got enough points to reverse, if you go ahead and bid 2 hearts,
go ahead and reverse and bid
and reverse, and then that doesn't work, and you go back to clubs, your partner's going to think you've got 5, wouldn't they? Because it's delayed.
No, that they should figure out that it's a 6-card suit, because with a more balanced hand, you would rebid no trump. When you're 6-4, you're not likely to rebid no trump. Think about what your options are.
I get it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.
Mhm. All right. Here's the good old 6-5 that we were talking about earlier. So when you have 6-5, I make this point again. If you're 6-5-1-1 and you've got a singleton queen or a singleton jack, do not count the high card points for those honors. They're not worth the cardboard they're printed on. You are entitled to look at your hand and add something for length in your suits because of the tremendous playing strength your hand has. But if you have a singleton queen or a jack, call it a 2 or a 3 because it's worth about the same amount. So when you have adjacent suits, like here, this first one, clubs and diamonds, 1 club, 1 heart, 2 diamonds, open the 6-card suit and then think about whether you have the values to reverse. I usually think about that before I bid the first time because I like to plan my bids. But you have to decide at some point whether you have the values to show that 5-card suit when you're 6-5. When the opener lacks the points to reverse, he has to decide between the following. And I would submit that the points needed to reverse with a 6-5 hand are lower than what they are with a 5-4, simply because of distribution. I would tend to lower the high card point or the point count from 17 or more down to maybe 14 or 15. Open and rebid the 6-card suit. When you've got a 6-card suit, you don't really have a rebid problem. You would like to show your second suit, particularly when it's 5 cards. But if it's a reverse and you don't have the values, rebid that 6-card suit. Your other option is to open the 5-card suit and then bid and rebid the 6-card suit. Problem is, with 2 cards in each suit, your partner should take a preference to the first bid suit because he's entitled to think that it's longer than the second one. So he will always take a preference back to the first bid suit. So think about whether that's really what you want to do. But what we were talking about earlier, though, was clubs and spades. If you open a club, odds are pretty good you're going to get to rebid 1 spade. So you don't have to think too much about whether it will be a reverse. If it would be a reverse and you don't have the values, maybe you use the rule of 20 to open. You know, when you're 6'5", you could have as few as 9 high card points and be allowed to open. So if I've opened that way, I'm going to have to rebid my club suit. I'm not going to be able to get that 5-card spade suit in there if my partner bids 1 no trump. This is a risk I'm willing to take. But if you and your partner come to the agreement that with 6'5", in clubs and spades, you want to open a spade, go for it. This is a matter of partnership agreement. It's not the way I play, but the way I play depends on what I think about my hand evaluation and changes from hand to hand. I can envision a hand where I would open a spade and rebid clubs twice. If I had a very strong spade suit and a pretty crappy club suit, that's what I would do, particularly if I'm vulnerable. But on the other hand, if I have equally good suits, I'm going to open my clubs and rebid spades twice. So now then, as I say, if I have a strong 5-card suit and a weak 6-card suit, I'll open the 5-card suit and rebid the 6-card one. But if the 5-card suit is really weak, I'm going to tend to overlook it. Just like when I'm 6'4", and I have, let's say I have the 6 good spades and 4 hearts to the 9. I am probably going to rebid my spades before I show that really weak 4-card heart suit. Is there a possibility we'll miss a 4-4 heart fit? Well, hopefully my partner will bid hearts at some point and we can find it. But after I have bid and rebid spades, showing 6 of them, if we still don't have a fit, then I'll mention my 4 hearts. But this is only when my heart suit is really weak, like Jack empty 4th or 4 to the 9 or 4 to the 8 even. I've had that happen. So these things, though, assume that the 6-card suit is the lower ranking suit. With this bidding that I've shown up here, you could be describing a hand that's 5'4", 6'4", or even 6'5". And in those instances, partner will need to wait until you bid for the 3rd time. In other words, your second rebid, to be able to really figure out what your shape is. But when you rebid your second suit, you describe a 6'5" hand pattern. When you have opened a suit that is lower in rank, and then you bid and rebid a higher ranking suit, you are describing a hand that is 6'5". Because with the higher ranking suit, if you were 5'5", you will always, always, always open the higher ranking suit. I see so many people that hold 5 hearts and 5 spades and open a heart. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Not only do you have a rebid problem if you don't have the values to reverse, you have not described your hand well to your partner. When you open with a heart in that situation and rebid spades, you describe a hand where the hearts are longer than the spades. You describe 5'4", not 5'5". Now, non-adjacent suits. And obviously you're going to open the 6-card suit, regardless of the number of points you hold. These are This is when your two suits are non-adjacent in rank. If your partner has a doubleton in each one of your suits, you will at least find an 8-card fit. And if you have fewer than 17 points, in other words, not enough to reverse, just rebid that 6-card suit. With more than 17 points, you have enough to rebid the 5-card suit. This is a 5-card suit that's higher in rank. We're talking about situations that lend themselves to reverses. And you're trying to decide if you have enough points when you have non-adjacent suits. If you don't have enough points to reverse, rebid that 6-card suit. If you have enough to reverse, step right out there and reverse. Reverse all you want to. Now, when there's competitive bidding, this sets up a situation that can be a little bit confusing and difficult to remember. But if you think about it logically, I think you'll figure out what this means. 1 club by opener, 1 diamond by your pesky opponent. Responder bids 1 spade, promising only 4. The opponent did not bid a heart, so this spade bid promises only 4. Your right-hand opponent passes, and now opener has bid 2 hearts. This is a voluntary bid of a higher ranking second suit, and it is a reverse. It is a reverse. Opener is, well, he needs to bid again, obviously. But if he doesn't have enough to reverse and doesn't have 4-card spade support, if he rebids 1 no trump, he's promising a diamond stop. If he doesn't have a diamond stop and he doesn't have 4 spades, he may be forced to rebid the club suit, because if he doesn't have 4 spades and he doesn't have much in diamonds, he's got to have length in clubs and hearts. So he may have to rebid a 5-card club suit. Worse things have happened. Here, this is a reverse, and opener shows a hand with 17 or more points in it with longer clubs than hearts. Here's a different situation. One club by opener. Left-hand opponent interferes again and bids a spade. Responder bids 2 diamonds this time. He looks like he might have a little more. Right-hand opponent passes 2 hearts. Now then, what do we know about that 2 diamond bid? Is that a forcing bid?
Yeah.
Sure it is. Opener has to bid again, right? So this is not voluntary. His back's against the wall. He has to bid here. And his partner has bid at the 2 level. That means that we ought to be okay at the 3 level. I've opened showing at least 12 high card points, and my partner has promised me 10 at a minimum. That's 22 points between us. So in this case, we're okay at the 3 level. The whole idea behind the reverse and the opener needing extra points is because when you reverse, if partner takes a simple preference, it's at the 3 level. So here, he may or may not have the values to reverse. He's showing 12 to 18 points here. But if he rebids 2 no trump, that shows 12 to 14. He may have to bid 2 no trump, and of course he needs a spade stop if he does that. So, but his bid is not voluntary. Responder has forced him to bid again. So this is not necessarily a reverse. Notice responder's bid bypassed the 2 level of the opener's first bid suit. That's why the opener's bid of the higher ranking suit at the 2 level is not a reverse. Responder went past the 2 level. He went past 2 clubs. And responder's an unpassed hand. So as we said, the opener has to bid something, either a higher ranking suit or 2 no trump. Neither one promises extra values, but the 2 no trump call promises a spade stop. in blood, absolutely. Now, when the opener's right-hand opponent, that is the person sitting in the fourth chair, interferes, then the opener is allowed to pass with a minimum hand because partner is going to get the opportunity to bid again, right? When responder will get another chance to bid, then when opener has a minimum hand and had been planning to bid a suit that would look like a reverse, then he can pass because responder gets another shot. So when the opener does make a call that implies that the hand has been reversed, it is a reverse because this is a voluntary bid. It's when it's involuntary that it doesn't promise extra values. In this case, though, responder has another chance to bid. So with a minimum hand that lacks spade support, say for instance, because there's been an intervening bid here, if he had 3 card spade support, he could use the support double. If you use those to say, hey, partner, I have 3 card support for you over here. What do you think? But if he has a minimum hand that has no stopper in the opponent's suit and doesn't have 3 cards in it, so he can use the support double, and he doesn't have a 6 card suit he can rebid, and he doesn't have a diamond stop, so he can rebid 2 no trump, he's allowed to pass here with a minimum hand. So when he reverses, he absolutely promises enough for that call. This bid is voluntary. This bid up here is not. There was an intervening bid between responder's new suit. In this case, here there was not. Does everybody see the difference?
Susan, chat question on the top hand. Responders 2 diamonds. How many diamonds does that promise?
I would say generally 5, because if he had, well, let's see, if he had 5 hearts, he would bid 2 hearts. If he had 4 hearts, he would use a negative double. If he had club support, he might Q-bid spades or jump raise clubs, depending. So by the process of elimination, I think he almost has to have at least 5 diamonds here. If he has spades, he might have rebid no trump at some level.
Okay.
Is there another one? Another question?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, all right. I'll tell you what, we have come to the end here. I'm going to stop here. When you have 1 4 4 4 distribution, I hate it when I pick up a hand like that because they are so hard to bid. But let's pick up here next week and then we'll bump the responding to a reverse out to the following week, if that works for everybody. Maybe we'll get into responses some next week because we only have, what, 6 or 7 slides left on this one. But think about some of this stuff this week. If you have any questions, email me. And I'll do my best to address some of them again next week as well. And as always, if you have any suggested topics, then let me know. I'm always looking for something to talk about, as if I need any help, right? Thank you all for coming. Hi, this is Susan. Thanks for watching this video today. Most of these videos come from our free bridge lessons that we present on Zoom every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Central Time. If you'd like to join us for those lessons, you can email us at the address shown below and we'll send you the link. If you can't attend the lessons, then feel free to subscribe to our channel and you'll be notified when there is a new one added. Again, thanks for stopping by and we hope to see you soon.